Last time, I used the Mortise and Tenon joint technique to make a floating nightstand. It had a hidden wireless charging function and touch-controlled lights on the partition, which was convenient for cleaning. However, it was a bit of a pity that only one side was completed. This time, I'm going to upgrade it with the remaining wooden boards and add a hanging clothes rack as well. Let's get started. First, I took large pieces of wooden boards to make the top and bottom plates. With the help of a straight edge, I could process 2 boards at a time, which was precise and efficient. Then, I added a ruler to the edge of the board to mark the tenon tip line, leaving some allowance which would be very useful later. After marking the positions of the male and female mortises, I removed the male mortises and kept the female ones. Using a rip fence in combination with a back saw, I sawed along the marked line until reaching the shoulder line and removed the extra wood. For the middle part, I first used the jigsaw to quickly remove the large pieces. As for the remaining materials, I used a hammer and chisel to chisel from both sides alternately, which effectively prevented the edges from chipping. After processing all the female mortises in this way, I prepared the side panels and found the positions of the male mortises on the side panels. According to the female mortises on the top panel, I repeated the previous operations. It took me quite a while to cut all the boards properly, and they look just like a jigsaw puzzle. This dovetail joint can bear forces in 2 directions. When splicing, I added some wood glue into the gaps and then fixed them with wood clamps. After the glue solidified, I polished the reserved allowances. Thanks to the allowances, both surfaces could be polished smoothly. After the overall polishing, I used a router to cut a light groove at the bottom. A chamfering tool was used to turn the sharp edges into rounded arcs. I polished off the burnt parts, removed the floating dust, and then brushed on water-based transparent wood wax oil. It had no pungent smell and could preserve the original color of the wood, as well as being waterproof, moisture-proof, and crack-resistant. I applied it twice with an interval of 2 hours, and the effect was really excellent. Taking advantage of the drying time, I made a drawer. I used the remaining wooden boards to saw some wooden strips and polish them smooth to make the clothes rack. I cut the wooden strips into small wooden squares with a length of 15 centimeters and chamfered the tails at an angle of 45 degrees. I made a simple positioner with waste wooden boards for secondary adjustment and polishing. Then, in cooperation with a 3-in-1 positioner, I drilled holes in each of them. After that, I threaded them together with metal screws, and the prototype of the piano key-shaped hanging clothes hook took shape. I brushed some parts with brown walnut-colored wood wax oil to add a sense of texture. Brushed some areas with transparent wood wax oil. After drying, I threaded them together again, locked them with embedded nuts. Installed a wooden strip on the back, drilled holes and embedded button-shaped magnets in the dark parts. After fixing magnets on both sides, I could fix it back in place. Then I covered the screw holes on the side, and the piano key-shaped hanging clothes rack was completed. By this time, the frame of the nightstand had dried thoroughly. I embedded a distributed luminous light strip at the bottom, which fitted perfectly. Then I installed the convenient drawer slides. The slides couldn't be seen from the side panels when the drawer was opened, showing a sense of sophistication. When installing the clothes rack, I used an electric hammer to drill holes in the wall, put expansion bolts into the holes, and then used screws to fix it. When encountering an angle problem where the electric drill couldn't work properly, fortunately, I had a corner screwdriver prepared. By the way, for friends who are interested in DIY, you can go to my official website to purchase relevant DIY tools. Then I tighten the screws. Thanks to the magnets, the clothes rack could be pushed back gently and get retracted when not in use. Next, I installed a floating nightstand. I used an electric hammer to drill holes, inserted extended expansion bolts to fix the L-shaped brackets. The load-bearing capacity was okay. Depending on the wall, I installed the drawer. The light wire could be routed behind the bed. The left drawer had a reserve low-voltage transformer, and I just needed to plug in the quick connectors. The touch-controlled switch was embedded on the side, which was convenient and beautiful. After testing, there was no problem on the right side either, and opening and closing of the drawers and the bed box were not affected. The upgraded version is both practical and beautiful. Compared with the first straight-edged floating nightstand, I wonder which one you like better. That's all for today. See you next time.